sure all the messages are on here. Here we go. Michael is in the house. It's been a busy week this week, actually, news-wise. Been watching about that balloon thing there. I guess there's two balloons now. Um, One's in like down by Nicaragua or something, somewhere around that way. Let's see who else we got in here. We got two people on here so far. We'll wait a few minutes, see if we get some more people in here. Um, how you doing, Michael? What's going on? Let's see. We lost somebody. Not sure who we lost. Let's see. Tom and Jerry in the Philippines. I guess the count hasn't come up. I'm here, he says. Yeah, the count's not working correctly tonight for some reason. We've actually had internet outages here. I don't know how you guys have been doing where you guys are at, but I don't know if it has to do with China or not. I got like a little thing going on the front here. But I guess we've been having the internet outages here, and it's pretty bad actually. And it hasn't just been one like smart. It's been PLDT because we have two of them. One is I think actually one's Converge and the other one's PLDT, and we've been losing it left and right. We're at the 10 people already. That was quick, but it's been going down, and we get like little texts from them saying that they're having problems, and that's from China, so which is kind of strange, but it seems like it's almost on purpose. See, Dickie Spaz says, "Good day, Steven Sinfuls." Thanks, Dickie. Mercudio1234. Hey, Steve. Sinfuls. Hey, Dickie. Jeff Bradburn says, "Hey, Steve. How you doing, Jeff?" Single Lynn says, "Good morning in the USA. Good evening in the Philippines." How you doing, Lynn? Let's see. Randy Smith. Good evening from Korea. Michael L. Now, if I could get GPT to write my reports. Sinful says, "I have no issues here with Globe." That's good, because we're having issues here with all of them. Joe Cunningham says, "Good evening from Pennsylvania. How are you?" We're doing good. We are doing really good. Eng Hubby says, "Hi there, Steve from Chile, England. I hope you're well." Mercudio1234 says, "Good evening from New Zealand." Philippine Antics Expat Help. Hello, Steve. Greetings from Mabalacat. How you doing, Philippines Antics? How's the channel going? I hope it's going good. Philippine Antics is actually one of our, actually they're a vlogger, and they're also one of our subscribers too. That's kind of cool. Phaedrus says, "Hi, Steve. One visitor to the Philippines. I can't wait to get back to the U.S. Too hot, too many flies, too noisy here for my taste." For some people, it doesn't work, Phaedrus. I know for some people they don't make it work. You got to kind of make it your own. The flies can be handled. We've had flies here and stuff like that, and we took care of it. We don't have any flies around here anymore. Actually, Justin took care of that kind of. He figured out how to take care of that, and it was really a good idea. He has a trap that you put out there, and it traps all the flies, and it traps them all around this area here. It really works really well. Hello, Francisco Fletes. How you doing, Francisco? We haven't heard from you in a while. Hopefully, we'll talk soon. Actually, give me a call tomorrow or during the week if you get a chance. I want to talk to you for a second. Todd Tamano says, "I finally caught a live stream." Hi all. How you doing, Todd? Good to have you on the live stream. Let's see. Single Lynn says, "Yeah, it's been 2 days. PLDT is getting worse." Yes, it's definitely been a problem here. Jeff Bradburn says, "Hey, Philippine Antics in the house." Frymaster says, "Hey guys." Yeah, Philippine Antics, they've actually followed us for quite a while. It's quite interesting. And I watch them once in a while when I get a chance. Definitely a different type of channel. And we need that. We need a different channel here. You know, a lot of the channels kind of copy each other or copy off each other. I tell people to do a channel all your own. Don't copy the other guys, because otherwise you're just, cookie cutter. We have a lot of cookie cutter guys out there now. Francisco Fletes says, "Will do." Okay, Francisco. Dean in the Philippines is on board. Hey, all. I hope your week has been great. Yeah, my week's been pretty decent, actually. We went up to, excuse me for my cough, guys. We went up to the PRA the other day, and we brought a guy up there, brought him into the PRA, and got him his SRRV. So that's what I did all week. Rodney Warner, hello. How you doing, Rodney? And we've actually been helping a lot of people come into this country. It seems like almost every week we have at least one person come into the country and has me help them with the SRV, and it's kind of interesting because you get to talk to a lot of people. This guy was actually kind of quiet, but he's a very nice man, and we um, we took him up to the PRA, met Mary Rose, then we took him to the bank afterwards, and we took him to get his medical, and then after that, I took him over to get something to eat over at Rax, and we'll get some ribs and stuff like that. So it was pretty good. It was a good week. Rodney Warner, hello. Randall Crotty says, when renewing SRV ID card, can you renew it online instead of going to the PRA? The best way to do that, Randall, is the way I do it, okay, and the way my people do it. I can't speak to other people, is we just contact Mary Rose and she does it. If you went through Mary Rose, just contact Mary Rose and she'll do it all for you. Or you can go up there and do it, or you can call the PRA and they'll help you. I think you can do it online now too. Okay, you want to do it like about a month before or so, or a little bit before that. Okay, and it's pretty easy, and you have to pay the shipping fee to ship the card back to you and all that stuff, wherever you're at in the Philippines. Single Lynn says, I feel sad to the black woman who keep bashing Filipinas as poor and uneducated. I don't actually know who you're talking about, Single Lynn. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen anybody saying stuff like that. Fader says, this is the 5th time I've been here, and I've come to the conclusion that this just isn't my place. It's a shame. My Filipino family are definitely great to visit. Yeah, sometimes some people don't fit here. We've seen quite a few here come in here, then they've headed down south, and then they've headed back to the States. So some people don't give it a chance. Good day, y'all. Let's see. Who else we got on here today? That's from Doug. Let's see. We got 32 people, 11 thumbs up. Who else we got on here? But we've had a good week this week. Let's see. I'm trying to get some more people to keep this conversation going. Here we go. Dickie Spess says, our son has dual citizenship, hoping he can get set up with a U.S. government job when the shared bases staff up. You know, those shared bases, I mean, there's going to be 14 of them. I don't see those as having a lot of people on them. There'll be a lot of people, but we have bases all over the place around here already anyway. They're just trying to kind of close that gap up, to spread out and just make sure that, they keep China kind of controlled, to surround them. And because China's really spreading their wings by doing that South China Sea thing there, that kind of really ramps it up a lot. So that's why they're running these bases all down through the Philippines, Let's see, Simple says, 12 thumbs up. Let's hit that thumbs up, folks. But with the dual citizenship, I think you can probably get jobs in those bases pretty easily. I'm not sure if they're good paying jobs, though, we fix websites fast. Captain Paul and Key West headed your way. Eventually love the channel. Thank you so much for all your honesty. See, Joe Cunningham, 8 degrees here in Pennsylvania. It's actually below 0 up in Massachusetts right now, I heard. At night anyway. It was like 12 below 0 or more. Let's see, Jeff Bradburn. And up in Maine, I think it was like 40 or 50 below where my sister lives. Something like that. The real field temperature. Jeff Bradburn says Single Lynn could be referring to a lot of videos circulating around bashing passport bros, and Filipinas calling them uneducated on a lot of derogatory things. Okay. Yeah, I try to stay off that subject, you know what I mean, about racism and stuff like that. I just don't like to talk about it. It's just, I think that's one thing that we should keep off of here. That and pretty much politics is another thing that we should keep off of. Michael says there are a lot of black women and women in general in the states that resent the passport bros. They resent the competition. Okay, all right, now I'm starting to get it a little bit. So maybe the women over there are complaining about the Filipinas over here or something like that. Okay, I got it. Tom and Jerry in the Philippines, I don't think this administration will stand up to China. I don't think so either, at all. I don't think you're going to see I didn't think we'd see the Democrats in the White House, but we did. You know, no, who would have thought? You know, Single Lynn says yes at Jeff. Francisco Fletes says I tried to get a job on USA Jobs with the VA clinic, but what I was told is they mostly hire Filipinos for those positions. They want folks that speak Tagalog and English. It's funny that they want Tagalog, maybe because they work with people that speak Tagalog in there. That could be. But Francisco, right now, I believe they have an opening for what you would fit in on as. Actually, when you talk to me this week, ask me about it and I'll let you know. Okay, Michael Onset, looking forward to the 14th. Yes, Michael. How are you doing, Michael? It's good to see you on here. And you're gonna have one extra person with you, you said too. So I got you on the list. I just got done doing that actually for the Valentine's Day thing at Vikings. If anybody else out there wants to join us at Vikings, you can get a reservation if you call up. We will be there. We started at like 11:30, but I'm telling all the guys to get there early. If you're coming, get there like around probably like quarter to 11 or whatever, or 10:30, because we're gonna be there early if we can. We're gonna try to get up there early anyway, so we can get our seating and all that stuff and get situated. Because we have a lot of people. We have 40 people. But if anybody else wants to join us, feel free to join us up at Vikings at Mall of Asia. And you're gonna have to make a reservation on your own because we're all booked up right now. Okay, so let's see. Single Lynn says anyway, we're not competing to them, but are beautiful than us. LOL. Okay. Paul Gibson is in the house. Hi from 40 degrees Celsius, Perth, Western Australia. Keep cool. Douglas Robertson, my wife and I will be back in PI mid-April, working on SRRV and spending time at our home in Nega. Okay, sounds good, Doug. Let's see. Zuri. Hi, Stephen. Nice to hear you. If you need help with the SRRV, man, let me know. RLV, new approved Dumaguete Airport, Bakong area by the Philippine NIDA. Okay. Tom and Jerry in the Philippines. As retired VA employee, it's true. They only hire Filipinos. I looked into transfer fee years ago. That's interesting. You know, it's probably because it's so cheap to hire them that's why they do that. Or they have an agreement with the Philippines or something. El Zorro says, I said hi to you at the airport a few weeks ago. Oh, yeah. I remember. You were walking by me and I was helping the two, I believe I was with one of the ladies there. We had two ladies come in that week, and I believe that's when you were talking to me. In fact, she had said that you had helped her on the plane. I remember now, okay? Piss Spry, 2DJ. Have you tried the new restaurant opened by Far East, Pappy, and Angeles City? I have not. I don't go up to Angeles City, believe it or not. It's one of those places I stay away from. I'll probably go up that way around there at some point because I do want to go visit some of the old forts up there and stuff. Good to go, Joe says, Dickie Spaz, I saw some jobs on USA Jobs the other day. The positions I was looking at required U.S. citizenship. I am currently a GS-13, but not with the VA. They are supervisory type jobs, though. Okay, that's interesting. See, Michael L. says 3 Celsius here in St. Charles, Missouri. It's cold. It was minus 50 on top of Mount Washington, and it had 100-mile-an-hour winds. And I guess it was with the wind chill factor. I think it was almost 100 below or something like that. It was really, really cold up there. I think it was something like that, if I remember correctly. Keith Lopez says, happy Saturday. Zuri says, is there any cheap house fully furnished, and what is the cost of it? Okay, if you get a house, Zuri, you're going to pay a lot more, okay, if it's furnished. And a lot of the people usually furnish it on their own if you're staying here permanently. I know some people don't like to because they want to move around or whatever. They want to be free to move if they have to. But yes, you can, but you pay a lot more. As far as giving you a price, like for a cheap one around here, there probably is like maybe about $400 or something like that around my area. Other places are going to be more expensive. Keith Lopez, houses are cheap. I'm in Calapan. It depends where you are, but around Manila, You're not going to get that unless you're in my area. My area is still cheap. Phaedra says for 2 nights prior to leaving the Philippines, we'll be staying at a hotel close to the Mall of Asia. I plan on seeing it. Let's see. Single Lynn says it's also cold here in Antipolo. It's actually cold here. I just came from outside. It was kind of chilly outside. Sinful says Mount Washington has the highest recorded wind speed in the U.S. I think that used to be Sinful's. I know it did. I think that's changed though. I know it had the highest wind speed. It was really really high because that was a long time ago too that record was set. But they're having high winds up there today and last night, and really exceptional cold up there too. Sai says minus 12 in Syracuse, New York. RLV, PHI's tourist tax refund in 2024. I saw that. I'm not sure how they would do it though. I don't think anybody's gonna get any money back. Let's see. El Zorro says, I know you were busy. That's why I didn't stop to introduce myself. Thanks for all you do for our community. No problem, man. Zuri said, you should have stopped and talked to me, though, even though I was helping the lady there, but that's okay. Zuri, I meant a house like yours. RLV, a house like mine, Zuri, you can find them a dime a dozen over here. And you can usually find one in my area, sometimes furnished, okay? There are places. If you ever need help finding one, just write to me at Steven5975 at yahoo.com. Okay, RLV, beware of the fake P150 bill. Yeah, okay. Lazy Larry Lee, there is a 200 peso bill. So, Lazy Larry Lee, hi Steven, it's minus 16 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 26 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cold. Let's see, AJ Pat, belated Happy New Year, man. Apologies for the late greetings as there's a lot of activities to be dealt with. Dickie Spaz says, good to go, Joe. Thanks for the info. It's a long shot, but son being dual citizenship only worth it if it's a GSA position. DJ Joe says, Piss by 2 DJ. I've eaten at Eric's Pappy's Bar and Chill Resto. Great food and great good peeps. Sinful says Mount Washington still holds the record for the highest measured wind speed not associated with a tornado. Okay. I thought it had lost it for a while. I had heard that it had lost it. Maybe it still has it then. I think it was like 200 and something miles an hour too. Because somebody had told me that it had been lost to some other place. I'm not sure where it was though. Lazy Larry Lee says, hi Sinful. Sinful says, grab that from Google, our friend. LOL. Okay. Thanks for that, Sinfuls. Hi, Larry, he says. Let's see. Todd Tomeno says 46 in Phoenix. That's not a bad temperature. And Sinfuls put up the, if you guys need my email again, Steven5975 at yahoo.com. Keith Lopez. My girlfriend and I are buying her dad's house in Puerto Princesa, Palawan. We'll be renting it out for, I think, around $13K. Be careful. Be careful, especially when you're not married. Make sure you have something written out and talk to an attorney. If you need an attorney, Keith, email me at the email address above, okay? And we can talk. I'll give you the email. I'll give you the information for the attorney, and maybe she can help hook you up with some ideas on that. Fader says, not cold here, strange. We're further north and not very far from the ocean in Lingayen. On the wing in a hog. Good morning, all. 29 Fahrenheit in Albuquerque. Sinfuls, 231 miles per hour was the record. They're not even close to that. And they were like about 100 last night, I think. So check out their temperatures sometime for like this past week. It's been pretty cold and windy up there. Let's see. I've been up to the top of Mount Washington. It's a cool place. Pat Keene says, bonjour, Steve. I've been up there probably like about 6 or 7 times. Alan Ricky says, today, Manchester, New Hampshire, 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Cavite, 76 Fahrenheit. Yeah, where I'm at right now, it's actually cool. We're actually cold, like kind of cold because the air is dry. Yusuf Amar Habib says, Steve, did you watch that new movie, Plane? Good movie, but it'll make people scared of the Philippines. I have not. I believe that was a movie that my girlfriend wants to watch. I'll have to check it out though. I'll check and see if it's on Apple. Keith Lopez, oh yeah, I'm way ahead of you. LOL. Sinful says record was toppled in 1996 at Barrow Island, Australia during Typhoon Olivia. According to the report, the new record stands at 253 miles an hour. Okay, so it was toppled then. All right, I figured it was. But that was during a typhoon. I mean, that wasn't a typhoon that was going on top of Mount Washington when that was going on, though. I don't think it was. I know it wasn't a typhoon. It could have been a hurricane or something. AJ Pat says thoughts about the U.S. on expanding more military bases in the Philippines. We talked about that in the video. There's 14 now because they went 5. They got 5 more, and the United States asked for 4 more. So there's a total of 14 bases that are open now, and that's a good thing. I think it's good for us and it's good for the Philippines. Those are bases that are shared. People are asking me if they're going to open up Subic. You're never going to see those bases open up as a U.S. base. It's just not going to happen anymore. I think that's pretty much done. I think the shared bases are pretty good. They should be shared bases. You know, I mean, even back then, they were technically kind of shared. The Filipinos had active military on that base. So, Sinful says, but that was during a typhoon in Australia. Yeah, it's definitely different during a typhoon, but I don't think that was. I think that was a regular storm going over there. It wasn't a hurricane over Mount Washington, or it might have just been like a real windy night or whatever. I forget, or during the winter. I don't recall. I used to know more about Mount Washington because I used to climb up there and I used to take the Cog Railway up there. Sinful says, but that was during Typhoon in Australia. Let's see. Good to go, Joe. Dickie Spaz, the only thing with the VA was a lot of jobs looked like they were looking for internal candidates. People already working for the VA, at least the supervisory jobs I was looking at. On the Wing and a Hog, plane was good on Paramount. Yeah. I did see that it's on Paramount. But you got to sign up for it too. Damn Car says, hi from St. Louis. I'm visiting here, Brewer. I'll be back soon. Sinful says, Mount Washington was static wind, no typhoon. So for the U.S. still stands. That's cool. Dickie Spaz says, seems about right, Joe. Thanks again for the info. Dean in the Philippines says, hey, we are headed up to Angeles City the 11th to the 16th. If anyone has any suggestions for entertainment, shoot me a message. Let's see. Sinful says, entertainment in Angeles? Exactly, Dean. You know, Dickie Spaz says, Dean in the Philippines, Sinful. Sinful's on a wing and a hog. Thanks. Been trying to find that. Let's see. Frank 2.0. Good evening, Steve. Looks like you're having a good blog tonight. We always have a good blog, you know. We always do. We always actually have a pretty interesting evening on here, Frank. Let's see. Bispry says there's a shortage of nurses in the VA. We just had a huddle, and the chief nurse told us that 50% of age 50 and above nurses quit. I'm currently a VA employee. I'm gonna have to find out if they need more nurses up there because my girlfriend's daughter is going to nursing school and she's gonna be graduating pretty soon. I'm gonna see if I can get her a job at the VA. Actually, maybe that might be a good place for her to work. On a Wing and a Hog said Paramount had $26 per year deal, so I signed up to binge SEAL Team. Let's see, had 26. That's not bad. 26 per year, I guess. Sinful says 81 watches, only 34 thumbs up. Let's go, folks. Actually, we're up to 84 now, so we're doing pretty good. Let's see for the first 24 minutes. AJ Pat says this may be a late news, but what are your thoughts about Alec Baldwin's being charged for manslaughter? I don't think he should be charged with that. I saw the story, and it looked like an accident. You know, it's kind of messed up, but yeah, it looked like it was just a on-stage accident. You know, I know it happened someplace, remote or whatever, but I heard that it was there shouldn't have been a bullet in there. Let's put it that way. Rick S says, hi, Steve. Do you have a preferred mode of transportation leaving the airport to a hotel? Most of the taxis from the airport are fine because they check them. You have to put the meter on before you leave there, I believe. So I think you're pretty safe. Phaedra says, I visited Clark Air Force Base my first visit to the Philippines in 1984. I'll never forget how shabbily they treated the Filipino citizens in our family. I never heard about that. I thought most of the people up there were treated pretty decent. Dan Cars says, what's in the balloon over St. Louis? Maybe the next pandemic virus is in the balloon over there. Here. You know, I was thinking about that actually when I heard about that. That who knows what's up there, and if you shoot it down, you release it. I mean, for real. I mean, who knows? That's kind of a scary thought. Justin in Arkansas says, I used to be a VA nurse, then I quit. Tom Pear, top of the morning, my friends. How you doing, Tom? Good to see you on here, man. Make sure you send me some pictures if you do some more traveling. I know it's winter time there now. Simple says he was reckless. Crazy Joe Expat, treat a gun no matter what that is loaded. I mean, I don't like the guy, personally. I don't like his politics. I don't like a lot about him. But, I mean, he should have checked it. But still. Sinful says, only the yellow cabs in the official line are guaranteed to use the meter. Yeah, and the ones that are in that line, they're all yellow cabs pretty much. AJ Pat says, which are better places in the U.S. for nurses when it comes to high salaries and income? Boston. Boston by a lot. Boston pays really, really well for nurses, but you pay really high rents there too. Craig Jordan, the Philippine Info Channel. Good evening to all in the Philippines and greetings to all elsewhere. Dickie Spa says nurses in Phoenix can make six figures. Single Lynn says, Craig, good morning too. I think it's the same way in Boston too, though, the six-figure thing. Sai says, tried to go up Mount Washington and got lost. LOA, the farmers said, can't get there from here. Oh my God, they really say it, LOL, okay. I don't think there's too many farmers up in that mountain. John Ross says, I found out that SNR in Cebu allows you to bring in 3 guests per member card holder, and Landers allows two per card holder. Yes. I've been in there with people, and they don't really question you that much. Pissbry says, they need nurses if you check out VA in LA. The problem is that it takes too long to get in. Human resources is located somewhere else, and nursing management is helpless. Let's see. Dickie Spaz says, either low cost of living. Sinful says, he was solely responsible. He pointed and shot it, and it wasn't even during filming event. I didn't know that part. I just heard like bits and pieces. Sinful, so I don't know that much about it. They said he's probably going to get off though. Tom Pierce says, and they usually practice sometimes too. So who knows what was going on? I don't know the whole story. Enough about the story. So Tom Pierce says, AJ Pat, most foreign nurses are hired in the U.S. because they will be paid lower wages. I don't know if that's totally true, Tom, because up in Boston, they didn't get low pay, let me tell you. They got paid very, very well up there. Good to go, Joe says, when you are handed a weapon, first thing you should do is verify it's clear. Wouldn't expect a Hollywood type to know how to handle an actual gun. They like to pretend with guns. So that's the thing. I mean, when you get handed a prop for a movie or something like that, you expect it to be, a fake gun. Let's see here. DJ Joe says, you being from Boston, what's your thoughts about the GOAT, Tom Brady, retiring? He sure did bring a lot of Super Bowls to the Patriots. They're actually talking about bringing him back to the Patriots for one day so he can retire with the Patriots. I actually think that's a good idea. I actually posted about something about that on Facebook today. So they would bring him back for one day. I don't think they would probably for like $1 or something like that or whatever. And I think they would probably give him a really good send-off too. And I think that's the way he should go out. That's just my thoughts on him. He was a phenomenal football player, let's face it. John Corona says, hey, Steve, love your channel. Thanks, John. Dean in the Philippines says, message retracted. Michael L. says, the armorer should be charged with negligence. it is the armorer's responsibility to make sure the stage weapons are safe. So that's the way I look at it. I would say it's kind of the stage people's, the whoever sets that stuff up, more so than the actors. But I don't know. Maybe when you're dealing with guns, it's very touchy. Sinful's Michael L. She also being charged. Oh, I didn't know about that. I thought it was just him, so that's interesting. RLV, Steve, which pizza do you like? S&R or Landers? I've never had pizza from Landers, and S&R, I don't like their pizza too much, unless I take it home and I cook it in the toaster oven, so I can, because it's all soggy, man, when you get that pizza. But if you put it in the toaster oven and you get crunch it up a little bit, it's really really good. I actually went to Pizza Hut today because I like Pizza Hut here. It's the only really decent pizza here. Single Lynn says, Tom Pear, you're right. Nurses here underpaid. That's why some are jump into BPO call center companies. Well, in the Philippines, yes, they're underpaid, but they're not underpaid in the U.S. And when they first get there, I know that they get paid very well in most cases. Maybe some of them get underpaid a little bit, but not much. Fader says, from what I have gathered, it's the nurses who work in surgery and ER that makes the real money. Mark Vivori says, not true about low pay for foreign nurses in the U.S. Filipino nurses are sought after, great reputations. That's what I heard, because I know in Boston, they get paid very, very well to start, because I knew some of the nurses over there that were starting. And I was married to a Filipino before, and her friends were nurses, and they made good money. AJ Pat, do Filipino nurses get high wages, salaries, and income in Boston? Yes. And some other places in the U.S. like Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, and New York. Almost all those places pay foreign nurses very well, especially Filipino nurses. Sinful says, anyone who handles a weapon is responsible. I know, Sinful, I understand what you're saying from a gun owner's perspective, because I used to own a lot of guns. I owned a lot of guns. AR-15s and everything, and handguns and Derringers and everything. I had a whole collection of Derringers, and like you and I know that as people that have owned guns before, but people that haven't owned guns before don't have a clue. They really don't. They haven't gone to any, like I took a course about before you could even get your gun license, and they teach about that stuff, but anybody that doesn't have a gun license doesn't even have a clue. They really don't. Craig Jordan says, the Philippine Info Channel, which channel is the Super Bowl going to be aired in the Philippines? Let's see. I'm not really sure. You know, I don't really watch football since I've been here. I just don't have time, and I don't have a channel to watch it on either. I'm sure I can watch it later and watch it on YouTube. So if I wanted to, let's see. On a wing and a hog, that actor seems to be out of control on many fronts. Yes, he does. I really don't like the guy at all, so he's not one of my favorite actors. RB Trigger says, how about steak and cheese subs there? There are no real good steak and cheese. Cedric, can you not do that, please? There are no good real steak and cheese subs here that I've ever had here. I'm trying to think. Even Subway's steak and cheese subs here are not really that great. They're okay. Lazy Larry Lee says the Albany Medical Center was sued by Filipino nurses for being underpaid. They won the suit and were awarded back pay. That's good. They should, because they deserve it. Good to go, Joe. Sinfuls, agree with you. Mark Rivori says all guns are loaded until you prove otherwise. I agree. As a if you're in the United States and that's the way you handle real guns. But if you're handling stage props, that's a whole different thing. And I don't know if he thought it was a stage prop or not. That's the question right there. Anyone who accepts a gun on anyone say he is a fool. He's guilty of reckless endangerment at a minimum. I'm sure he'll get charged with something. You know what I mean? But a lot of stage props are not even real guns. So I mean, you got to think what did he think it was? But even then, if he was a gun owner, he probably should have checked it. Dean in the Philippines says armor and site safety both are on the chopping block. Randy Schmidt says Papa John's and Makati is good. John Ross, normally when Filipino nurses gets hired to work in the U.S., the visa stays and the monthly pay is already signed and agreed upon. But usually it's pretty decent pay to start, from what I've seen. Simple says, Randy Smiths, we have a Papa John's here in Santa Rosa. Actually, they got Papa John's over there? That's interesting. I didn't even know that they were over here. Will Crow, I think the verdict will depend on whether he has ever received firearm safety training. Even then, because he might just be expecting to be handed a prop. So who knows, Well, when you think about it, if you're used to getting handed props all the time and then all of a sudden you get handed a real gun, that's a whole different story. I'm sure in some of those Western movies, most of those guns are prop guns, They shot blanks and stuff. RB Trigger says, well, there, did you do with all of those? Well, he's asking me what I did with all the damages. A lot of them I gave to friends. A lot of them were police officers that wanted to have a secondary gun that they could put on their ankle. And they were asking me what I was going to do with the damages. So I told them I'd give them one of those, and I did. Dickie Spaz says, my wife is an RN and makes a great salary and never without work. Makes a great salary. Let's see. Raj and Bing and Bingala travels. Chinese balloons over America. I run for a potential EMP, electromagnetic pulse attack, a possibility, in my opinion. Who knows? That's a possibility, But it's at 60,000 feet or 50,000 feet or something like that. Would definitely do some damage. Single and Lazy Larry Lee, it's nice to hear. Let's see. RB Trigger says, is van life possible there? Yes, there actually is a YouTube channel for Philippine van life. I don't know what they call themselves, but there is a guy that travels around the Philippines taking ferries and stuff like that, and he is a van lifer, and I believe he's a Filipino. Avalon, good morning, Steve. I actually watch Forrest D. Forrest and that Van City Van Life guy. I like those channels, and I also watch Steve Wallace. He's pretty good too. He does like camping, but he's really interesting what he does. He does what's called stealth camping, and he hides in weird places and camps in weird places. So it makes it kind of fun to watch him. And he's a cool guy, and he just went through a real tragedy. His wife just passed away, and that was his best friend, the two of them. Avalon, good morning, Steve. Minus 11 degrees in Lawrence. Quickly, let's see. Luckily, rest of the month, high 40s, low 50s. That's good. Minus 11 in Lawrence is pretty cool. Michael L says Shakey's is best. I find Shakey's very salty here. They only have one flaw. They don't take American Express. Fortunately, they take Visa. AJ Pat says, thoughts about the passing of Pope Benedict. Even tough that news came out in the last days of December. I'm not really a big fan of the Pope. I'm not a Catholic. So it really didn't really faze me that much, to be honest with you. Damn cars, Philippines is key if the U.S. wants a China war. Philippine workers need jobs, and we should be investing in factories here. I agree, because the Philippines should take over some of that slack for China, and maybe they will. Good to go, Joe says, I bet most of the U.S. on here received our weapons training. I bet most of us on here received our weapons training the same way, courtesy of the U.S. government. Yes. ROV, no good steak and cheese sandwich here, to be honest, even in Metro Manila. I've never had a good steak and cheese here, and I love steak and cheese. Let's see. James Franklin, VA Healthcare for Pacific Island sent out an update 2/2/23. Updated Guam Healthcare at Naval Hospital Guam. I'll have to check that out. Dickie Spaz, Papa John's, Yum Yum, Sinfuls, Michael L. The Shakey's here by my house sucks. I think all the Shakey's sucks. To be honest with you, I've never gone to a Shakey's that I really liked. On the Wing and a Hog says, I'm in New Mexico. The DA is not messing around with Baldwin and others. ROV says, many Papa John's here in Metro Manila. Let's see. Lazy Larry Lee, Avalon is minus 16 here today, but it's supposed to be in the 40s. Craig Jordan says, Silliman University College of Nursing had a reputation as the best nursing school in the country. Let's see. Dickie Spaz says Shakey's and Bacalot is so. Sinful says I have had good Shakey's, just this one bad. They don't know how to make pizza. Um, the one here, man, just pours salt on it. I've gone to other Shakey's too, and it's always the salt. Um, Please Bry says VA nurses paid a little bit lower, but your TPP is vested 100% in 3 years, and you get pension for life. Working 5 years, you get medical and dental coverage for life for yourself and your family. That's pretty good. That's not bad. See, Leonard Marlin says, I work for several nurses from the Philippines. They bring them over, pay them minimum, give them housing and food allowance until they pass the nursing license test. Well, I work with, most of them take the test over here. They take that test over here. So when they go to the States, they're all set. John Bergeron says, we have a Papa John's here in Quezon City. We order all the time. Craig Jordan says, Sinful, Shakey's PH is a lot different than Shakey's USA. You know, Craig, when I was in the US, they had Shakey's in Massachusetts, and they all went under. There's not too many Shakey's in the US that I know of anymore. Maybe out in the Midwest or something. I know in Massachusetts, they're pretty much gone. It might be a couple of them left, but not many. Leonard Marlin says, when they pay them a good wage until they fulfill or pay off their contract. Todd Tomano says, I notice in the night markets, the seafood isn't usually on ice. Is that normal? Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Let's see. Sinful says, Craig Jordan, yes. Sinful says, Steve, I found the Van Life channel. Okay to tell? Yes. Go ahead. Absolutely. You know, let's see. Michael L. The Shakey's and MOA is great. John Rose says, I wouldn't recommend van life here in the Philippines. It's scarier than you think. Probably, yeah, because I couldn't imagine sleeping someplace strange here. Dickie Spaz says, Sinfuls, maybe they're using Chef Boyardee mix. John Ross, I want to comment again about that. The van life here. It says there's no Walmart's to park at, right? So that's part of it. Let's see. King B Stacker, I watched that guy too. That's the stealth camping guy. Yeah, Steve Wallace. I didn't know that his wife died. Yes, very sad. He's hanging around with his friend there, the crazy neighbor now. It's kind of, I love Steve Wallace, and Wallace is spelled Wallis, and On a Wing and a Hog says I subscribe to Steve Wallace and Foresty Forest as well. Good channels. I love those channels. I like Van City Van Life too. There's also back roads, and I don't know. I can't remember the guy's name. I watch this other guy too. He travels around in boats and stuff. He's kind of interesting. Shanty Homes. He's not that popular, but he's really good. Leonard Marlin says most buy back the contract by working in a hospital 40 hours a week, and their contract 40 hours a week for 1 year. Craig Jordan says the Shakey's in Sacramento, California was better than all Shakey's in PH. Let's see. Paul Rogers says, hi, Steve. I really enjoy your channel. Let's see. 2 thumbs up, as they say, and the info you share is spot on. Please keeping on. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Craig Jordan says, Shakey's PH is nice to take the kids for fun. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I don't want to knock Shakey's. I just, I went to Pizza Hut today, and Pizza Hut is 10 times better than Shakey's. Shakey's is okay if you're in a bind and you really need a place to stop and eat, and there's no other restaurants around. And sometimes it's that way in the Philippines where there's no other good restaurants around, so you stop at Shakey's. There's no McDonald's, there's no Burger King, so you go to Shakey's. Michael L., 90,000 feet. Damn cars, SNR Supreme Pizza is my favorite. I like the Supreme Pizza here. RLV says, if you are in BGC, try Gino's Brick Oven Pizzas. Single In says, I also like SNR Pizza and salad. I've had their salad. I didn't think their salads were that great. I mean, I like their pizza. If you take it home, you throw it in the refrigerator, and then you throw it in the toaster oven and make it a little bit crunchy. Then it's a good pizza. Otherwise, it's soggy. Single In says, try Jollibee if you don't like pizza. I hate Jollibee. I really hate Jollibee. Sinfuls, RLV, we just got a pizza place that is doing brick oven pizza. Let's see. Singleton said Shakey's. RLV says also tried Landers pizzas. I've never tried Landers pizzas. I know that they serve food there, but I've never tried that actually. Micah Marisha says Shakey's and a longboat helped me lose 20 pounds. Salmonella. Um, okay. Remy B says, do you think getting a Canadian remote job and moving to Philippine is a possible way? I'm not sure what you're trying to talk about. Do you think getting a Canadian remote job and moving to Philippine is a possible way? I'm not sure. I don't even know how to answer that. Dickie Spaz says, closest Shakey's for us is living in Goodyear, Arizona, is in Los Angeles. Avalon says, do they have any good lamb dishes? Local or is it goat or from Australia? I liked Outbacks, loved Alabang, nice and relaxed. Massachusetts has good coal-fired pizzas and heroes are called grinders. Coming from Massachusetts, I always loved going to Outbacks, but I also loved the Greek pizza shops there because they and the Egyptian ones too. They always had the best pizzas. You cannot get a pizza anywhere else in the world like you can in Massachusetts. I mean, the pizzas there are the best. I mean, their subs are the best, or as you call them, grinders. I mean, Massachusetts is known for that. New England is known for that. Simple says Celine and Dennis Murillo. Okay. Let's see. AJ Pat. So if you guys are looking for van life stuff, look that up. AJ Pat, does the taste of S&R pizza taste similar to Domino's pizza? No, not even close. And the pizza at Landers, I'm not sure about Landers. I never had theirs. But no, it does not taste the same as Domino's. Domino's has a very special old style pizza taste as far as their crust goes. But they've switched their wheat to a cheaper wheat, and it doesn't taste the same as it used to taste originally. Because I remember when I was working in Charleston, South Carolina, I used to deliver Domino's, so I ate a lot of Domino's pizza. There's something different about their crust now. Simple says that's the channel's name. So if you guys are looking for that, Celine and Dennis Murillo, Murillo. So if you want to watch a van life channel in the Philippines, that's the one. Leonard Marlin says, I can only say what I've seen them do in Florida, Tampa area company I worked for. RLV says, Sinful's nice. I hope you like it. Let's see. Damn Cars says, I'm going to be a daddy and couldn't be happier. Congratulations, man. Sinful says, AJ Pat, no they don't, but good. Sinful says, damn Cars, congratulations. Craig Jordan, the best pizza in the Philippines I've tasted was at the resort in Panglao. The owner had a real Italian brick oven. The best pizza I had here was actually in Boracay a long, long time ago, back in the 80s, but the guy's probably dead and gone now. He was old then. I think the best pizza here in the Philippines now is probably Pizza Hut, I would say. That's just my opinion. BJ, hello, Steve. Good evening. King D Stacker, Leonard, I'm from St. Pete. Tom Paris says the big difference between van life in the U.S. and van life in the PI. In the U.S., I can have my gun with me. There you go. That's a good reason, right? King B Stacker, originally, Michael L says all of Shakey's in the Midwest closed around 1980. I think it was like that back in the U.S. too. I mean, not back in the U.S. in the New England area too. I don't even know if there's any left. Singleton says RLV, I will try Landers Pizza. Sinful's Landers Pizza is good. I'll have to check out the Landers Pizza. Leonard Marlin, your Pizza Hut must have a better service than the one in SM Mall here in Davao. We got great service at Shakey's. I agree the food was subpar. I was just there today at SM Dasma at Das Marinas, and the pizza was phenomenal there. Greenwich is not that bad, but it's not the best. It's okay. I don't knock Greenwich because I actually like their pizzas. It's middle of the road pizzas, but it's good. I like their pizza actually better than Shakey's. Sinful says we have a great Greek restaurant near me that Dean showed me. It is good. I actually like Greek restaurants if they serve pizza and subs, and they make great salads. Craig Jordan, which PH membership warehouses is the Costco and Sam's knockoff? That is like S&R. Let's see. Simple says SNR is the Costco one. Yes, absolutely. Jeff Bradburn says SNR and Landers is similar to Costco. Both of them are. Single Lynn, yeah, SNR. John Jones, regret, regretless is a van life channel. She's wickedly smart. There's a lot of good van, like that Van City Van Life. I love that guy. He's pretty good too. Foresty Forestman, he's does some phenomenal photography, and he's just a really nice guy too. And Steve Wallace, he can't be beat. He's probably one of the best guys out there. Very down to earth, nice guy. John Jones says thin crust. Let's see, BJ. Just got back Monday from a 2-week visit to Cebu and Dumaguete. I had a great time, but only scratched the surface. So we're up to 98 viewers, guys. 56 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Leonard Marlin, King B. I own a home in Clearwater, Florida, and I live here 10 months a year. I work as a nurse in Bay Point and St. Pete and Concordia Manor, as well as a few others. PRN. Let's see. Single Lynn says, try the local pizza burger. I've tried some of almost all the pizzas here. They're all pretty good, decent at Pizza Hut, and like I said, at Greenwich. But the other places, like I said, I'm not really too happy about. Avalon, you are so right. When I was in college in Mass in 1980, I used to go to Dimitri's Greek Pizza. Awesome, good, wicked good Italian guy in Boracay. Made excellent pizza. Don't know if he's still around. I think that guy's dead now. He was old then. I think he was probably like in his 60s or 70s when I saw him. And that was around mid to late 80s, somewhere around there. Michael L says the guy is looking for a job that he can get as a Canadian, however, which is fully remote, so he can move to the Philippines. Okay. Let's see. Pumpkin Joe's. I wish I could have an SNR where I am. Could buy in bulk. Robinson's is local markets don't really carry quality goods. Yeah, I lost a lot of your thing there, Pumpkin Joe's. It cuts a part of your thing off. I'm not sure why. We have that problem with some of the guys on here. RLV says Single Lynn, many choices at Landers. They also visit the Japanese mall, Uptown BGC, Mitsukoshi in front of Landers. King B Stacker says, I worked at Domino's Pizza for many years, from 1999 to 2006, when Hungry Howie's Pizza from 2007 to 2011 then became disabled, moving to Leyte in June. Yeah, I worked at Domino's when I was in the Navy, when I had off crew on my submarine. We had 3 months on, 3 months off, so I worked doing Domino's during that time. Single Lynn, RLBRE, I will try that on February 14th. Michael L, Remy B, you will probably run into the same issue I am finding, is that the fully remote only applies if you are in North America. The corporate VPN will see an overseas IP and deny access. Okay, I gotcha. Dicky Spaz, Hungry Howie's was good pizza. AJ Pat says, ever tried eating at Kenny Rogers restaurant? Actually, I eat at Kenny Rogers quite often. Kenny Rogers it's good food. They do change up the restaurant enough so that you don't get bored with it, because you do kind of get bored with, the different things that they have there. They have a good selection, but it gets boring. So they have like truffle chicken and stuff like that, and it's kind of interesting. Let's see. It's some news just come on about that balloon there. I'm not sure what it said. Let's see. Stoic Freediver says, any health nuts in your circle who eat clean, don't eat pizza? We've got a few people that I wouldn't say they eat clean, but they're pretty picky about what they eat, Sinful says, AJ Pat, LOL, he certainly has. Remy B, I'm still wondering about snakes around your place. Do you see a lot of them? Well, here's the story. When I was sitting out here with one of the guys one day, and you guys, some of you guys have heard this story already. I was sitting talking to this one of our expats here. His name is Dennis, and Dennis was sitting across from me. And I'm telling you, we moved pretty fast. I didn't know what kind of snake it was, but it was coiled up next to me. It was looking at me, and I looked at him. I almost put my hand on top of him, and it happened to be a pit viper, so it could have killed me, And later on, I think we killed it, because it slithered off, but we found another one that fit the same description, and we killed it. And we also killed another one, which was a coral skein, I think they called it, something like that. And it had like three different colors on it. It had bands with yellow, red, and black and stuff. It was kind of a weird looking snake. We killed that one, and we did kill another one too. All three were poisonous. So, Craig Jordan, AJ Pat, Kenny Rogers was good for me. I haven't been for a while. RLV says, single Lynn, wow, Valentine's special. Michael L says, Remy B and the corporate VPN may have a list of known VPN addresses, so changing VPN to appear that you're in the north may be problematic. Yeah, VPNs are kind of funny, even with banking over here. If they notice that you're using a VPN, sometimes you can't even work with some banks back in the US. Paul Osterhout says, would love to have a Boston Market. Boston Market was good. I actually like Boston Market. Kenny Rogers is similar to Boston Market, but Boston Market was a very quality food. I found that their food was, their chicken and their meat was just a very good tasting chicken. All their food was good. And Kenny Rogers had stuffing here that I used to like, and they took that away. I used to love stuffing. Simple says Paul Osterhout. Ah ha ha. See, Single Lynn says RLV. Yes, I will date myself. There we go. Police Bride says Boracay used to be filled with Nipa huts back in the early 80s. Not a lot of locals, only Europeans, and it's a nude beach. I remember back in the 80s. Yeah, it was nude. There was a lot of nude people there on the beaches, and nobody ever said anything. A lot of them were Germans and from Europe. Remy B says, Michael L, I need more info. Dickie Spaz says, Stoic, I suspect there are a lot of vegans in the penis. The problem here is getting good vegetables. You might think that you can get good vegetables, but it's only certain types. And lettuce here, sometimes, man, when you buy lettuce here, it's not great. We have a lettuce place right down the street from me, so we can get lettuce here pretty fresh if we want to, but I don't know. There's something about the lettuce here when you buy it in the supermarket. It's already like half rotten, half brown. Michael L. Remy B, don't tell your employer you will be in the Philippines, just like you won't tell your investment house. Good to go, Joe says, I find it interesting to hear what people sub to on YouTube. I thought I was the only weirdo watching van life, finance, and prepper and Philippines vloggers. My subs are all over the place, LOL. I have people that I follow that follow me from back home, and some of them were van lifers. It's really funny, some of the people that subscribe. And that's how I came upon some of those guys, because we started talking, and one of the guys is subscribed to me, and a couple of the other ones are too. BJ says, I tried Kenny Rogers for the first time last week. It was pretty good. It's good the first time, but when you eat it like 2 or 3 times a week, it's kind of loses its flavor. Remy B says, Michael L, okay, thanks. Cedric, can you turn that down? Tom Pear says, why does anyone know of a Banditos clubhouse in the Philippines other than the one in Boljun, Cebu? I never even heard of that. See, Avalon says, do you think driving a 3-wheeled automatic motorcycle would be a safer option? Are they available? It's too bad about the dogs and chickens. They can be too much all day, all night. Let's see. Single Lynn says, Kenny Rogers is served too long. I'm not a fan waiting too long if I'm hungry. I prefer fast food. Kenny Rogers is pretty fast where I'm at, very fast. Craig Jordan, comfort food restaurants like Boston Market are cost prohibitive these days of inflation. I used to actually eat at Boston Market every weekend when I was working my security job, and I actually liked it. I didn't find it cost prohibitive either. I'm sure it is now, though. Good to go, Joe says, Dickie Spaz, how someone is not vegan if you talk to them more than a minute and they haven't mentioned being vegan. Okay. Sinful says, Rowan Trotman, do you know Richard the dentist? LOL. Let's see, Dickie Spaz says, haha. Leonard Marlin, Avalon, you bought a tuk. I bought a tuk-tuk from a friend moving back to the States, and we love it. for going to the supermarket, especially in the rain. Let me see. This thing is starting to ride up on me. Otherwise, we take our Yamaha 125 scooters um, to the downtown market. Okay. Stanley Booth says hello from Tidewater, Virginia. Go O's. Let's see. And Peter says my partner loves bacon for breakfast. Is there any bacon there in the Philippines? Yes, absolutely. You can get bacon all over the place. It's very common. Uh, Evelyn says way back in the day they started out as Boston chicken. Yeah, I remember that. I hear onions are being accepted as formal payment at some stores. Probably the way that they're going. They say they are very high. Cracker Barrel also lets you park in the lot. Yes, they do. Sinful says Peter, certainly there is bacon. The Peter also says the bacon will be a deal breaker. Sorry for the question. Um, Paul Osterhout says I have gotten some. This thing's riding up on me. I have gotten to smoke some up at our place in Abra. John Jones says there's a Chinese pianist, Yujia Wang. If you like watching extreme talented, gifted, check her out. Might not like symphonies, but her playing is exceptional. I actually like some music. Rowan says, not sure, Sinfuls. Do you were in Barbados? I am retired, just returned. Paul Ostout says, we raise bad boys. Sinful says, Rowan, Trump, not exactly. He's a dentist into crypto and rides motorcycles. Avalon, thanks, Leonard. I'd like to get Bergman. I love St. Pete. We got a lot of people here. They like the Bergmans for riding around. Let's see if that's what you guys are talking about. Dan Carr says, I've been safely riding cycles in the U.S. for 40 years. I'm getting older and getting a Toyota Wigo in the Philippines. Much safer. Sinful says, a acquaintance. A regular guy, Paul Ostow, where are you located? Let's see, Bernard Knowles. Did you have earthquake tremors yesterday? I did not, no. I heard that there was a couple of tremors around here. I'm not sure where they were, though. I think it was down south. Rowan Trotman says, I just returned after 40 years. Craig Jordan says, perhaps we can barter with the Philippines, exchanging onions for eggs. There we go. Eggs are cheap here. They're very cheap. Dickie Spaz says, hey, Scott, what's up? Regular guy, hey, Dickie, my good man. Single Lynn says, Bernard Knowles, we haven't experienced earthquake here in Antipolo yesterday. Have you there? Avalon, have you tried the new vegan balut? That's keto friendly, lactose tolerant. Let's see. Rowan Trotman grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Stanley Booth, can you go over the many types of money transfer options? I think this would be a good video topic. I've actually talked about this many times. This is going to skip up on me because these people are talking really fast on here tonight. We actually have a lot of people on here, so I'm going to probably lose some of these people on here. But anyway, the transfer options are Remitly. There's a ton of options over PayPal. You can do all these different pickups at all these places. Most of the places, like a Western Union, has like 10 names out there of all the different types of places. All the ones that you can see on the option, you just put money transfers in there. You'll see a bunch of them, and all of them are pretty decent. Some are cheaper than others. I like using Western Union because I can transfer from one account to another account. I never have to touch the money. So it goes right in. I can go to an ATM at BDO and pick up my money. So I don't have to, and if my ATM card gets broken, I can transfer money to myself, pick it up with my passport. So that's just an easy way. Let's see here. Avalon says, and feather free. AJ Pat, I tried ever tried TGI Fridays? We go there quite a lot at our meetings. We've gone there twice. And I've gone there a few other times too, but yeah, we have some of our expat meetings there at TGI Fridays. Very good. Everybody enjoys it there, actually. Regular guy, Steve, do you get tired of reading the comments? No, I don't. I actually enjoy, doing this on Saturday nights. I have it's one of the things I do enjoy doing. Some nights, if I do get tired, I just take a night off. But no, I like doing this. Michael Onset says, had another motorcycle accident claim today. Michael's our insurance guy. guys, if you guys ever need an insurance person, Michael Onstad, it's Onstad. He sells insurance. He's on Facebook. If you guys need any type of insurance, Pacific Cross Health Insurance, he's the man. He sells all types of insurance now, so he's the man you want to talk to. And he takes care of our expats very well. So, and I hold our people to that. If anybody sells stuff and I push it, I expect them to treat our expats well. Michael's a really good guy. I've met him. He's gone to our one of some of our get-togethers. He's actually going to go to one on Valentine's Day too at Vikings on the 14th. Let's see, Peter says Iloilo versus Dumaguete. Is there a difference in the cost of living? I've heard Dumaguete is more expensive than Iloilo. Okay, and I've been to Iloilo. So, and I know it's changed in there, but I heard it's more expensive than Dumaguete. I mean, not cheaper than Dumaguete rather. Dumaguete is getting expensive. Sinful says, AJ Pat, yes, we eat there on a regular basis. Paul Osterhout says, we're up in Lagangilan, or whatever, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. About 1.5 hours from vegan. Paul Osterhout, vegan is on the coast, that is. Craig Jordan, American Customs have been seizing eggs from Canadian visitors just like Philippine Customs seizes onions. I heard that, yeah. Armando Di Michelle says, hey there, Steve. It is approximately minus 30 Celsius over here in Montreal, Canada. I missed the pH coming next month and I'm counting the days. Well, let's hope you get here, man. Soon. Better than that weather, you know. Stanley Boost says, regular guy. What's up, Scotty boy? Regular guy. Stanley, my friend. AJ Pat says, thoughts on recent news about China's spy balloon. I did a video on that. You know, that it's not just one, it's two. There's one down in Central America too that they're watching. That's scary. I hope they shoot it down and find out what's in it, and I think they need to. Lightning says, hello, Steve. George, South Florida, retired 56, retired 2 years already. When I hit Social Security collecting age at 62, can I do it while in the Philippines? You can put in at the embassy. There's a Social Security window there. Single Lynn, why there's a shortage of eggs in the USA? That's what I asked too. I guess there was some sort of disease that took avian flu or something like that, or whatever it was, and that's what happened. I'm not sure what. It was like a avian disease with the chickens or something, so they had to kill them all. John Bergeron, that's what I heard anyway. John Bergeron, for the last 5 years, I have just used my ATM here, mostly HSBC ATM because 40,000 a swipe. Let's see, Peter, eggs are expensive in the U.S. I heard they're anywhere from $5 to $12. RLV says, Steve, any interest in visiting TH, VN, NY, SG, Hong Kong? No, I've been to China, I've been to Japan. I just don't, those countries don't appeal to me really. I like the Philippines. Vietnam, I was thinking about going to for some personal reasons. I wanted to go there. Family things. I wanted to try to find out about a girl that my father tried to adopt, and I wanted to, it's a kind of a long story, but I want to find out some more history about that. Craig Jordan, it is absurd that onions cost more than meat in the PH. Sinful says, RLV, I want to go to Kuala Lumpur for a long visit. Mac Will says, what up, man? Got my 18-month countdown going on. There we go, man. 18 months flies by until you start getting really close, and then it drags. I actually had a countdown clock that I put on my phone, and later on I kind of regretted putting it on there because it kind of made it drag a little bit, you know. AJ Pat says, eggs and salt prices have been skyrocketing in the Philippines recently. Quite a shocker, really. Sinful says, AJ Pat, I buy 2 dozen extra large eggs for $210. That's about what we pay, I think, down the street here. It's pretty cheap. You know, it's real cheap. Please Spry says, any plans of visiting Africa like Somalia or Ethiopia? No, absolutely not. I never really was a person that thought very highly of Africa. It has nothing to do with the people. I just don't like the country itself. It doesn't really offer that much to me, and the food, you know. Stanley Booth says they are not going to shoot down the Chinese balloon and possibly kill innocent Americans. U.S. can gather info on the spy balloon to see what they are trying to observe. They should have shut it down though, just because they shouldn't be allowing that to come on into U.S. airspace. That's all. Mike and Mauricio, countdown clock on my desk at work. There we go. Okay. Paul Osterhout says, I am working in those places now, like in Djibouti. You ain't missing much at all. There you go. See. Um, Paul says, ooh, yuck on the local chow. I can imagine. Kate Fox says, Asia might be a bad place to be once tension in Asia increased, or worse, Philippines could be a target because U.S. bases. They're not U.S. bases. I mean, I want to correct people on that. They're shared bases. What are your thoughts about this, Steve? I don't think living in the Philippines is a bad place. I think living in the U.S. is going to be a bigger target. Nobody has ever really attacked the U.S. and I think if we go to war next time, I don't think it's going to be so easy living in the U.S. because I think the U.S. is going to be a target next time if we have a World War III. Trust me on that. Mark my words. If we ever have a World War III, let's face it, we're going to be fighting with sticks and stones after. But if we ever have a World War III, mark my words that the U.S. will be targeted by probably conventional weapons and not nuclear weapons, but you can trust me that there'll be some weapons being used in the U.S. You can almost guarantee that. So that's my thoughts about that. I don't think that China's just going to fight the battle over here because the U.S. is used to having these, wars in other countries and fight like the Ukraine. That's a proxy war. I think proxy wars are going to be, a thing of the past after in the next war, if whatever that may be. If we go into a world war, it won't be a proxy war. Trust me. Jerry Ross, Africa is not a country, it's a continent. Yes, you are correct. Michael L. Let's see. H5N1 bird flu. Yeah, that's what it was. Peter says, Los Angeles, where I live, is a bigger target than the Philippines. I don't know why I say Africa is a country, but yeah, you're right. It's a continent. But all the countries there, they just never appealed to me. I don't know. There's too many problems there. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of strife, wars and battles, and a lot of other stuff that goes on there that I just don't find it a safe place to be. Peter, Los Angeles, where I live, is a bigger target than the Philippines. Los Angeles. Okay, Los Angeles. All right, so it says LOAS. I'm like, what is he talking about? Probably. You're probably right. Single Lynn says, scary, Steve. Yes, it is. It is. Unfortunately, it is. Peter, hey, Steve, how old are you, if I may ask? I am 59 and I will be 60 coming up soon in March. Let's see. Please, Bryce says, Peter, are those missile silos on Seal Beach by 405 freeway? Let's see. James Franklin says, they are moving troops out of Okinawa to Guam. Guam is ramping up. Guam needs to have some serious protection down there because that's where a lot of nukes sit. Paul Osterhout says, Los Angeles is what he's saying, I think. Yes, it is. It is. I realized that after. I thought he was talking about some place in the Philippines, for a second there. Paul Osterhout says, nope, ammo bunkers by Seal Beach. They do have a lot of nukes down there, though, too, I heard. Peter says, yes, Los Angeles it's a typo. Sorry. Okay, no problem, man. Yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, when you think about it, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen in the U.S. And I think the U.S. is trying to get into these 14 bases here, maybe turn it into like a proxy thing. I think, but we have bases all over the place. I mean, those would be easy to take out, but if you're going to go to war, I think China has submarines off our coast and we have submarines off their coast. They already said that we would lose a lot of submarines if we go to war with China over Taiwan. And I think that's a fact because China is going really crazy about trying to find all our subs where they are. with all types of technology. So we'll see what happens with that. Sinful says the troop movement from Okinawa has been long-term planned due to encroachment and crime issues that the Okinawans are tired of. Let's see. Sinful says I lived there for 2 years and seen firsthand some of the issues. Randy Bryant says I feel safer in the Philippines than I did at home in Indiana. You know something? I feel the same way. When I lived in Lawrence, Massachusetts, it was not the safest place to live. Let me tell you. I actually had I was sitting in a security car one night, and they were firing shots across the parking lot with me sitting in the middle of it after everybody had left. I was there till 12 midnight, and it was after 10, and we had some gunshots going across, and I had to take off and get out of there. And I'll never forget that. And that was probably like about a month or two before I left, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Michael says Thailand might be a good spot to hang out. Maybe. Rodney Warner says, did the spy satellite make it all the way to Montana before America, were aware of it? I guess Canada never warned us. And it's not a satellite, it's a balloon. Let's see. Michael L. says, isn't shared bases better so American and Philippines can be trained to fight together against the common enemies? I agree. I tend to believe that these shared bases might be better than the other bases, and those were shared bases too, kind of. But they were bases that we could consider ours during that time because they were kind of leased or whatever. Paul Osterhout says the glow in the dark stuff is stored elsewhere. Trust me, not at Seal Beach. I know they do have nukes in Guam because I've talked to people before, and they said there were. And in fact, I read an article too. So, the global vagabond with so many people from different parts of the world, how does or do they have credit check system for rentals? Is there largely a security deposit? There is a security deposit. How does that work? Well, for rentals, it's a security deposit. You know, it's pretty easy. But as far as checking credit here, I don't think they have any real credit checks that I've ever heard of. Craig Jordan, there is no safe place to be, either PH or US. You're probably right, Craig. You know, when there's going to be a war like that, there's not going to be any safe place. You know, there will not be. Peter says Los Angeles the port along the beach. If they want to cripple the economy, Los Angeles will be the target compared to the Philippines. K Fox says Portugal in Europe is a good place to retire. Sinful says the global vagabond, no credit checks here for rentals. Cash is king for deposits and terms. AJ Pat says, is there a U.S. shared base in Japan and South Korea that the U.S. had with the Philippines? Is there a shared base in Japan and South Korea that the U.S. had with the? I'm not sure the way you worded that is not correct. I don't know if the Japan and South Korea has shared bases. I believe they are. I believe some of those bases in South Korea are probably our bases too. Craig Jordan, China is more than likely targeting all shared bases in the PH. Probably. They probably are. You're probably correct. See, Lazy Larry, Randy Bryant says, where in Indiana? My hometown is Terre Haute. Let's see. James Christian says, changing subjects to another one most folks hate. Might have covered this before with being at tax IRS season. Do you file both U.S. and state taxes from the PI? No, I don't pay state taxes because I live here, so there's no reason for me to pay state taxes. If you lived part of the year in a state, some states you have to pay. But if you live over a certain amount of time outside the country, I remember I had to pay some taxes to Massachusetts when I left because I had worked there for 3 months. But once I've been here, I don't have to pay any state taxes now. It's just basically U.S. federal taxes, and I have to pay Philippine taxes for AdSense because it's YouTube. Avalon, thanks, Steve, for the nice chat. I appreciate it. Have a productive and great week. Thanks, Avalon. Good to go, Joe. The USA and China are too deep in bed financially. A major conflict really doesn't benefit either side. China will continue to flex and expand their influence around the world, Africa, etc. They will act on Taiwan sooner or later. I'm pretty sure, and they're going to act on a lot more stuff. The way they're pushing their weight around now and seeing how people react. If nobody reacts, we got problems. Let's face it. Rady Bryant says about the earthquake we had 5.3 in Davao. Paul Osterhout says, "Yep, on Chinese here in Djibouti makes things interesting to say in politely." Let's see. Michael L. We should give Taiwan and Ukraine more arms. I agree. Submarines. Give them diesel boats because they only need ones for around them. Michael, it took months for that balloon to get here. Don't tell me we didn't know about it. I'm sure we did. I think they knew about it off of Alaska, I believe, if I remember correctly. Paul Osterhout says the only thing that makes my movement simple is my red passport. Other than that, Djibouti and China are doing nasty business. AJ Pat says, would Australia join the U.S. if Taiwan is attacked by China? I believe they said they would, if I remember correctly on that one too. I'm not sure. I think that Australia is pretty big about Taiwan as far as I know. Lazy Larry Lee, Single Lynn, good night. Good night, Lazy Larry. Victor Robert says we shouldn't be involved in Ukraine at all. We created that mess. Yeah, Ukraine's kind of a touchy area, but that's a proxy war. That's what it is. The United States is using Ukraine to battle Russia. Let's face it. That's what it's all about, you know. Saturn 60 foreign. The foreign earned income exclusion has a 120 income limit. If you live in the Philippines and make over that limit, would I have to pay state income taxes? Saturn 60, I don't do tax stuff on here. I really don't. I stay away from that because there's just so many different things that come up when you're talking about taxes, and it's not something you could really talk about on here. It's very complicated stuff. You know, you really need to talk to a tax advisor when it comes to taxes. That's not something I do on my channel. Sorry, I wish I could help you more, but I can't answer that one. Paul Osterhout, good night, Larry. We are going to call it quits here in about 2 or 3 minutes. So, Sinful says Australia has made a deal with U.S. for subs. Yes, I remember hearing about that. Nuclear subs, too. But I know Taiwan wanted to get some sort of, they were talking with the U.S. about getting some sort of diesel subs, which would be a whole new design for the people that build the subs in the U.S. So it'd be kind of interesting because they don't really need nuclear for sure. And I don't think you'd want to give them nuclear. You know, Madman 31, any advice for first time in the Philippines? Watch my channel. You know, we put out a lot of advice. Go back to my old stuff, preferably. Watch the ones that you need to watch. There's a lot of good little nuggets in there. And you can also call me if you need to. You can email me from my phone number, Steven5975@yahoo.com, and I'll help you. I mean, for me to give you advice on here right now, we could talk for hours about that. But if you need any help, you can ask me for my phone number by emailing me. Victor Robert, China cannot compete with us military. We just have too much firepower for them. I don't know if that's totally true anymore. They're getting pretty damn close, you know, and we'd be on their turf too. Bernard Knowles, is Metro Bank available in PH? Yes, there is a Metro Bank here, but I have Metro Credit Union back in the States. But yes, there's a Metro Bank over here. Michael says Australia and Japan will follow our lead. Yes. Michael L. says Saturn 60 only federal U.S. tax if over exclusion limit. Yes. Michael, you're right on that because he's talking about state taxes. I'm like, there's no exclusions for stuff like that because you don't have to pay your state taxes. Sinfuls, Bernard knows. Yes, it is. The Global Vagabond says, I joined the social club a few years ago. It has been a game changer. Are there social clubs in major cities like Manila? Not golf courses, just plain old social clubs with like-minded individuals. Yes, there is. There's also some U.S. Clubs and U.S. Filipino organizations out there and stuff. Even the PRA itself has like get-togethers once in a while too, like once or twice a year. So being a PRA member, Philippine Retirement Authority, and having the SRV retirement visa does give you some, you know, into meetings with other expats and stuff. Plus our group is a kind of a social group. Let's see. Saturn 60 says our high-rise condos in Cebu strong enough to withstand earthquakes. Um, that's hard to say because it depends on the builder that built it. You know what I mean? Because some of these people buy cheap stuff trying to save money. But I would say so. They've had they've had some pretty good shakes down there, just like we have here. Let's see. Sinful's put the email there if you guys need the email address. AJ, Pat, thanks for the productive chats. Um, man, good night. Stay safe. Let's see. Michael L says, Steve, don't you get a U.S. tax credit for the tax you pay in the Philippines? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I I I don't have to pay on that, but I do pay Social Security taxes. They took out something because it shows up in my that I'm paying Social Security taxes. So when they do my taxes, they do take out something. Michael, if Taiwan had atomics, then China would never attack. I agree, but they shouldn't have atomic submarines. They just need diesel subs because you could go out for like a week or two, come in, go back out or whatever. They don't have to stay down for a long time because they're just protecting their shores. That's it. So a diesel boat is all that's needed. In fact, they could buy from some of the other countries out there, and I think they'd be pretty decent. Let's see. I'll read a couple more things here. Just the bill says, regardless of what China does in the near term, it's going to be toast in a decade due to population issues. Too many old people. Yes. So Stanley Boo says, you sound like a Trumper. We don't talk politics on here, so um, I am a Republican. I'll just say that. But, Michael L., give Australia the same deal we gave the UK. Yes. Actually, the UK actually has some really good um, aircraft carriers over there, and we should either buy or rent those or lease them off of the UK because they're smaller and cheaper to run too. But anyway, guys, God bless, guys. We will talk in another week, probably, or 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on next week. I probably will be. But if not, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. And thank you, Rich, for helping out tonight. God bless, guys. Take care.